anti-toilet and the beam guns pow, while anti-turf force laser gun crack out. And the anti-Zoid rail gun will shoot, and anti-Zoid hyper laser gun scoot. Now sound the trumpets loud, Elephander, the gallows empire arms commander, wheels with power and might the demander. His cruel battle rage will not be under. An Elephander can still fall. Against sheer numbers they can appear small. Alas, stand by brave elephant Zoids now. Though fall the elephants did not bow. Now sound the trumpets loud, Elephander, the gallows empire arms commander, filled with power and might the demander. His cruel battle rage will not be under.